how we play. That is the standard. You know what it felt like, right? You know what it looked like. That is how we play. Offensively, we moved the ball. We took what they gave us. We didn't force anything. We played for one another. You guys, your energy was awesome. You poured into each other in every freaking play. More than anything, I just want you to remember what this felt like. What it felt like out there when we were out there for each other. Okay? Because that is the standard. Here we go. Together, 3, 1, 2, 3. Together.
Okay. So I guess that's energy. It was like watching paint dry. Sorry. That half-court, extra pass nonsense, I hate it.
Hi guys, let us sit down and really talk about last night's game because the Indiana Fever did, in fact, get a win. They put a tally in the win column, and on paper, that is supposed to be a great thing. Okay, great. They got the victory. But the conversation surrounding this win is what we really need to dive into today, because it speaks to a much larger issue brewing with this team, this coaching staff, and this league. Following the game, Caitlin Clark made a comment saying that she hopes this win quietens a lot of people down. She hopes it silences the critics and the noise surrounding the team. Now, that is a rather interesting comment to make, and we need to unpack exactly why that mindset is fundamentally flawed when it comes to professional sports. You have to understand the nature of the fan base that is tuning in right now. Fans are inherently passionate. They are loud. And most importantly, fans spend a massive amount of their hard-earned money on her products, on team merchandise, on tickets, on travel, on subscriptions to watch these games. Fans want to see and consume exactly what they want to see. They want to be entertained. At its absolute core, professional sports is an entertainment product. It is a television show. Honestly, it is the absolute best reality television show there is in the entire world. People want to watch what they want to watch, and they have the right to demand a certain level of entertainment value when they are the ones funding the entire operation. Over the past couple of years, people have gotten used to seeing Caitlin Clark play a very specific, electrifying style of basketball. That high-octane, incredibly fast-paced, deep-shooting, highlight reel style is exactly what they are tuning in for every single night. Let us be completely real here for a second. The league literally secured a massive new media rights deal and a brand new collective bargaining agreement, specifically because millions of people suddenly tuned in to watch Caitlin Clark play the way she played back in college. They tuned in for that undeniable magic. Plain and simple, I am going to be honest with you. That previous season before she got to this point was an absolute blast to witness. It was must-see television every single time she stepped onto the hardwood. But now, what are we getting? And what is going on behind the scenes? We find out, through word around the grapevine, that the Indiana Fever organization, and potentially the league itself, do not like the independent content creators. They do not like the critics on YouTube and social media. There are rumblings that they might actually start coming after channels that speak out against their boring product. Oh yeah, we know what is being whispered. But I do not know how they expect that strategy to go. Do they honestly think we are just going to roll over and take that without legally fighting back? I mean, seriously. We have heard the threats, but it is simply not going to work. I've got way too many channels and way too loud of a voice for them to just shut this down. And you might be sitting there thinking, wait, what are you talking about? Yes, they do not like us being critical of them. They cannot handle the fact that we are pointing out the obvious flaws in their system. They think we are far too influential, but the reality is, we are just echoing what the fans are already screaming. The solution is incredibly simple. Give the fans what they actually want to see. There were people in my live stream last night during the game that literally said they had turned the game off completely because it was so brutal to watch. They said they were just hanging out in the chat with us at that point, because the broadcast itself was entirely unwatchable. It was a remarkably rough game. Yes, they won the game, but it was an ugly, rough, boring slog. And the fans are absolutely letting them know it across every social media platform available. Let us look at some of the posts from last night. One fan sarcastically thanked Stephanie White for not pulling Caitlin Clark out of the game in just 3 minutes, and sarcastically thanked her for adjusting on defense, but ultimately concluded that the system still completely sucks. Another fan pointed out something I completely agree with. They wrote that it was a nice win, but they absolutely did not start watching the Indiana Fever just to watch Kelsey Mitchell act as a ball hog for 3 straight quarters, while Caitlin Clark, who is undeniably the best player in the WNBA and the entire reason anyone is watching, is relegated to just playing freaking defense. The fan stated clearly that if this is what the WNBA and the Indiana Fever are going to be all about moving forward, they can be counted out entirely because it is boring as can be. It is what it is. I truly do not understand why any single player, or the team as a whole, would ever get mad at the fans just because those fans want to watch a particular, exciting style of basketball. Really, getting mad at the fans who pay your salary is not a great look for anyone involved. And not only that, but to the front office and the league. You are not going to be able to censor us. You are not going to be able to quiet us down. You are simply not going to be able to do that. This isn't a dictatorship where you can just silence the press. It does not work that way in the United States, and it certainly does not work that way on the internet. Then we have to look at Stephanie White's reaction last night. Oh, she was absolutely loving it. In the locker room after the game, she was hyped up, telling Kelsey Mitchell, "Hell yeah," and giving her all the praise in the world. She stood in front of that team and said, "That is how we play. That is the standard." She asked them if they knew what it felt like and what it looked like. She praised their offensive system, claiming they moved the ball, took what the defense gave them, did not force anything, and played for one another. She gushed over their energy, saying they poured into each other on every single play, and she begged them to remember what it felt like to be out there for each other. She emphatically declared, "That is the standard," before breaking the huddle. Okay, so I guess that is what she calls energy. To the rest of the viewing public, it was quite literally like watching paint dry. I'm sorry, but that half-court, extra pass, slowed-down nonsense is something I absolutely hate watching. It is a tremendously rough watch for anyone who loves dynamic basketball. And notice what happened in that locker room. You give Kelsey Mitchell all of her flowers, you praise her to the moon, but you say absolutely nothing about Caitlin Clark, who quietly put up 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists. Not a single word of praise for the player driving the entire bus. Not only that, but what is truly hilarious about this whole situation is that the Indiana Fever organization is mad at creators like me, when all we are doing is giving a voice to the fans. Do you know how many of these videos consist entirely of me simply showing you the real, unfiltered fan reactions? They do not like that. But seriously, who cares if that locker room speech is what they consider the standard? The Fever are fed this season, and if that is how they are going to play, it is going to be a long, miserable year for the viewers. This is exactly how Stephanie White wants to play. Slow, plodding, boring basketball, where only occasionally you will get a fleeting flash of the brilliance of Caitlin Clark. Because of that style, the arena was dead quiet for 95% of the night. I would call that performance absolutely nothing special. It wasn't good. It was just standard, mediocre basketball that harkens back to the dark days before 2024, when nobody was watching this league. I honestly do not think the coaching staff gets that this league is entirely about entertainment, and last night's game provided absolutely none of it. You are not an established enough franchise to just win ugly games and expect the fans to stay happy. This is a really bad job by the front office in putting this team together, and an even worse job by the coaching staff in utilizing the generational talent they have been gifted. And again, the fact that the coach's post-game speech says absolutely nothing about Caitlin's massive statistical contributions is frankly ridiculous. The fans online are furious, and they are not holding back. One person said the team actually needed an ass-chewing instead of praise. Another pleaded for an end to Stephanie White's motion offense, stating flat out that it makes the games unwatchable and that the fans demand the Showtime fever. They are just coming right out and saying it. That game was incredibly boring. This is an entertainment product, and if it is not entertaining to watch, people are going to tune out. That fast, thrilling style is exactly why the Iowa Hawkeyes were so universally popular. Motion offenses are simply not entertaining to the masses. You're seeing it everywhere. The fans are voicing it loudly. Another comment called it the most slow, boring, no excitement win since 2023, comparing it to the old, slow lady ball that was the exact reason nobody cared about the WNBA in the first place. People are saying the game was completely unwatchable. They are saying it was so boring that while they are glad to get a mark in the win column, the team has to be much faster and much better moving forward. Fans are acknowledging the win, but calling it a terrible basketball game to actually sit down and watch. They are declaring that the concept of Showtime fever is completely dead under Stephanie White's leadership. People are actively hating this offense, pointing out that any team that plays with actual pace and speed is going to completely tear this slow-motion offense apart. Now, to be entirely fair, there was some genuinely good defense played last night. But we also have to acknowledge that the Atlanta Dream simply missed a ton of open shots. So even the defensive success is slightly skewed. The overwhelming consensus remains. It was such a bore. It was a slow-paced, boring brand of basketball that one fan hilariously compared to watching geriatrics play a game of dominoes. Another fan sarcastically referred to it as the true standard for boring Stephanie White thug ball. Man, some of these people online are wild with their descriptions, but they are not wrong. It was a profoundly boring game. If this slow, lifeless motion offense is truly your standard, then it is rapidly becoming time for a massive change. Fans are already demanding that the front office either trade Caitlin Clark to a team where she can actually shine and play her game, or fire Stephanie White immediately. It was not an exciting game to watch. The motion offense is complete trash, and against better teams, this strategy is going to look horrible. This absolutely should not be the standard for a team with the brightest young star in the history of the sport. I really think that locker room comment, Stephanie White proudly proclaiming "this is the standard," is going to come back and bite this team right in the rear end. It is absolutely going to bite the coach because, again, people want to watch what they want to watch. These millions of new viewers came into this ecosystem and followed this superstar into this league specifically to watch her be the undisputed number one option. They came to watch her run the show, push the pace, shoot from the logo, and orchestrate a thrilling offense. They did not tune in, buy the jerseys, and sell out arenas across the country to watch her be relegated to the third option in a slow-motion, extra pass system that drains all the life out of the building. And Caitlin herself really has to realize this dynamic as well. She has to understand that she has cultivated an incredibly passionate fan base that is going to be exceptionally loud and highly vocal whenever they are not happy with how she is being utilized. That is the very definition of fandom. The word fan is literally short for fanatic. When fanatics see their favorite player being held back by a rigid, boring coaching philosophy, they are going to erupt. The ultimate question is, can this league, and specifically this franchise in Indiana, not handle this level of scrutiny and passion? It is crazy to me, because I thought this massive influx of attention, passion, and revenue was exactly what everybody in the WNBA wanted for the past 2 decades. They finally got it, and now they are complaining about the very fans who brought it to them. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel because with the way things are going and the rumors of censorship flying around, you never know what might happen. I may even have to tell you all to go and subscribe to every single one of our backup channels, just in case they actually try to pull the plug on us for speaking the truth. Peace out. I am out until next time. Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and definitely be sure to tune in next time for more unfiltered truth on WNBA.